Okay, let's try that again. All right, now we have some audio. Okay, so you just missed my rant about construction and road closures and spending most of my evening trying to drive 2 miles, which is time that I prefer to spend getting ready to stream. So, cheers. This is how to host a dungeon play testing on Roll20, take 3 or so, the Primordial Age. So, How to Host a Dungeon is a solo dungeon building game where you draw a dungeon through its history, developing its stories, its inhabitants, and its shape. In the end, you get a dungeon you can use for your dungeon crawling adventure game, or just for your own dungeon viewing pleasure. I can give you a look of. So this is a previous game, which I played through the Age of Civilizations, and we've got a dwarven civilization that mined out these gold veins, built all this stuff. The next phase of this game would be to have an Age of Monsters, where after the dwarves abandon their home, monsters move in and compete with one another, and adventurers enter the dungeon searching for treasure. I'm not going to do that tonight because I have a new set of rules for the Primordial Age, which is the first age of the game where all this gets set up. So, let's call this map Primordia and get started. The first thing you do in a game of How to Host a Dungeon is draw a line across the top of the page, noting the separation between the underground and the surface. Oh, that seems like a nice color. Let's go extra large for our surface line. What kind of shape do we want to have our dungeon today? So, I'm going to consult my How to Host a Dungeon beta rules. Let's do a mountainous land today. I don't know as I've done one of those in a long time. So there's a mountain range. Now, I'm going to draw some red lines to separate this into zones. So up what we see up here, first of all, right, this is above ground, earth and sky and wind and air. Everything under this line is underground. We're going to divide this underground up into several zones, each of which will have its own distinct characteristics. So let's be vaguely geological here and make some geological looking layers. We'll have a big fat zone here on the bottom. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, let's see. Let's have one more zone. What's the best way to do this? Yeah, let's do that. Put kind of a fracture line here. These will be pretty small zones, but that's okay. The game does not have to be absolutely perfect. Let's make sure that we put all this on the map and background layer. So I am by no means a master of this game, or this interface I should say. So that should select everything. Let's copy it. Oh, we can just move it to the map layer. Okay. Actually, let's do it Let's move out to the GM layer. I like that because then it's kind of grayed out and we can draw on top of it. And then as we draw things that get deprecated in the game, we can send them to the GM layer and they'll be grayed out. That's a good way to make it work. Let's throw a little text in here. Number up these layers for our own reference. Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3. This game was developed for playing on pen and paper, but it works decently well on Roll20. I'm learning some tips and tricks to use Roll20 a little bit better and make a better game of it. Okay. Now we'll go up to the map layer and we'll start adding some stuff to this. So we add things to these zones in the primordial age and give our world shape by rolling on certain tables. Last week, I wrote a new set of tables that I like much, much better than the ones I had before. So let's find out how they work. First, we roll a d8 for zone number 1 to find out what the dominant terrain feature is. An 8. So, this zone is what we call a nexus. Now, a nexus let's pull out my list of nexuses. There are a large number of possible nexuses. So this is kind of the roll on another table that has a whole bunch of interesting options and find out what you get. This table currently has 30 entries because it's a work in progress. Not roll a 30, roll a D30. Thank you. 17. Item number 17 is honeycombed with caves. Wow, that's weird for the surface of the planet to be dominated by a honeycomb of caves. But we're going to do it anyway. And here is how we're going to justify it. Let's take a light blue for these caves. Let's make these lines regular. Somehow the surface of this planet is spongy and hardened. Maybe it's a volcanic world. But whatever the reason, it's got all of these weird caves, these rounded out caves, all along the surface of the planet. It's a great planet for creatures like goblins that like to raid the surface at night and retreat underground. But we'll see. It is a strange world. Also, when we do the surface, we roll to see what the surface of this planet is generally like in this region. And on an 8, we find that there is ore on the surface. Let's see if there's a gold nugget picture out there. Gold nuggets. That's not quite what I'm looking for. A gold dragon, a gold chest. How about gem? I like that one. I've used that one before. Yeah, that's good. So, scattered across the surface of this planet, there are D6 deposits of gems. I know how to use Roll20. 1. Wow, okay. Playtesting note. not D6, but maybe something more like D4 plus 2, because one deposit is kind of boring. Upon the peak of this mountain in the primordial times, a great gem poked above the surface, casting its light over all the land. Legendary and strange. Okay. Now, zone 2. Magma is the dominant characteristic of zone 2, and then we roll a d10 to find out what that magma is like. And what we have here is a magma river. So it seems to me if you have a magma river in a mountain range, that sounds like a volcano. Yeah, volcano. Volcanoes are cool. Let's make an extra large magma line here to the surface. And just because, I always got to overdo things a little bit, let's add some little highlights. I really got to try this with a tablet and a stylus sometime. All right, so we've got a magma river, and I think if you've got a magma river, you've probably got magma filling up some of these chambers. So one of the reasons that's important is, certain monsters prefer an environment where they have access to magma. And if those monsters happen to spawn in that area, it could have a very interesting result. I'm going to see if I can just roll both these dice at the same time. Right. So our D8 gives a result of 6, which is a biome. And our D10 gives a result of 2, which gives us a huge cavern with a kind of a natural, with a biome in it. Let's use a dark brown for most of our caves. Regular lines. So I think given the shape of this zone, not filled. Actually, we could fill it with a very light gray. So given I don't like that either. I'm going to fill it with a very light green as a reminder that this is a place that harbors life. So I see this as being like a series of steps up one side and this cavern. So there's probably little forests all the way up there. Something I haven't really worked out yet are rules for is there going to be a table that we roll on to see if is this a fungus biome? Is it a ooze biome? Is it a tree biome? But I haven't really figured that out yet. And I don't feel the need to yet. But I'm gonna put I'm gonna put a few little mushroom trees in each of these spots. So this is in fact a purple mushroom forest, a terraced purple mushroom forest. In the beginning were the mushrooms. I'm rather enjoying this. Okay, zone 4. Right, I have to say D8 plus D10. All right. In zone number 4, we have ore, mithril, gold, some valuable material that can be worked into items of worth. And on a 7, we have a small deposit of ore. So I don't, oh, that's a pile of coins. Pile of stones. A gemsmith. I don't suppose there's a picture for mithril. I plan to make many of these kinds of images myself as time goes by. I have made, oh, these piles of coin look kind of like, well, that's what we're going to use. So small, but not that small. That's more like that size. Seven. So zone number 5 is basically just rock of no special consequence. I'm thinking of including a table also to like determine things like, oh, it's soft rock, it's sandstone, it's super hard. But that doesn't really affect gameplay because all the creatures are pretty much equally able to tunnel and dig and build rooms and mine and so on. So, but for flavor, I may include some more details. But for now, just rock. Roll d8 plus d10 for zone number 6. And we have another small deposit of ore. Interesting enough. Well, perhaps these deposits are somehow related. Same geological source caused them to be. Zone number 7. Caves. Two tunnels, one long, one short. So I think we're going to make this large. So there's a long tunnel here intersected by another tunnel. And in our last section, we have another biome. This is 1d6 caves that are connected to one another. Guess we'll use our biome color. Think in a future draft, all of these d6s will be like d4 plus 1 or plus 2, just because one cave is sort of defeats the purpose, I feel. No, not a square cave. Freehand all the way, baby. Now this could be mushrooms too, just like the other one. But no, for some unknown reason, I'm going to make this a competing species of mushroom cave. The yellow sun shrooms. Indeed, that is worthy of a title. The Sun Shroom Caverns. When you play How to Host a Dungeon, you don't have to use lame names the way that I do. My names are often lame and humorous, which is funny because that is not the way I prefer to play Dungeons and Dragons. I like a little humor in my D&D, but I don't generally play, wacky, stupid names all the time kind of D&D, but it's how I play How to Host a Dungeon, so figure it out. Hmm. Well, let's see. I'm sort of torn. I was going to now continue through Civilization Age and a Monster Age, but my purpose tonight was also to test the Primordials, and there's no one really stable in chat. Like maybe a couple people came and went. So um, I'm gonna do another one, and I'm gonna save this, and maybe for a future playtest when I have a Civilization I want to playtest, I'll um, I'll use this map. All right, Primordia. Now we select your landforms and we send them to the GM layer where they are grayed out to show that they belong to a previous age, except for this little cave here. This saucy little cave that thinks it's better than everyone else. To the GM layer with you, cave. Let's see what this one looks like. Oh, this is a fun one. Oh, this is my first play test with, we have a Dwarven civilization up here, um, which built like a massive water wheel on this underground river. Pardon me. And down here we had Morlons. This was a playtest of Civilizations and Monsters at the same time. You can see these gems that were mined out. There, go to the object layer so you can see that a little bit better. These gems were mined out by the dwarves. Some monsters lived down here. This was a playtest of whether civilizations and monsters can coexist in the same age, which is a design goal for this game. It didn't work out very well. The civilization is kind of a clockwork machine that just does its own thing, and it kind of went, and when it encountered the monsters, it kind of fell apart because it had no way to deal with it. Whereas the monsters that are supposed to be part of an ecosystem of monsters, they kind of just ran rampant and ran out of control because they had no other monsters to bring them under control. So that prompted a lot of game rewriting, which is still going on. So let's create a new land. I think 22 by 17 is a decent size. Okay. Let's rename it. How do I rename it? Thank God it's Friday. I think with this one I'm going to do something a little different. On the Google Plus group, someone was talking about the idea of running a game of How to Host a Dungeon with a surface world like so. Let's make that extra large. And an underdark that would be like this vast empty abyss below. So that is an open space with the sun shining in it, and that is an open space of utter darkness. And I like that idea. I mean, what's not to like about it? Let's just put some random crosshatches here to convey the unmitigated darkness of this nether realm. You know, don't let my attitude make you think I have anything against unmitigated darkness. I mean, you know, some folks prefer unmitigated darkness. And growing up as I did in northern Canada, you know, I I can understand what that would be like. I don't want to live in it, but I've experienced 9 months of unmitigated darkness. Sure, bunch of times. Okay. Okay. I'm going to make the dividing lines regular. I'm going to do something a little different with this one. This configuration is not in the book. But I'm going to kind of do zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, 6, 7, and the great inky blackness. Great. Let's start with the general characteristics of this surface. 1. The surface is dominated by a terrestrial biome. Okay, let's see. Actually, let's look at my premium assets. I think that it's got some boulders, some trees. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Geo Dungeons Enhanced. No, that is not what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. Does he have any forests? This is my favorite map set by Arlen Ortiz, who I believe is creating a new map set right now. He does not seem to have forests in this one. Mushroom houses, those might be useful if, you know, those mushroom lands ever become... Oh, there's some forests. Oh, I like them. I like them. Let's grab a bunch of different forests. A few individual trees. I think we want small forests for this job. And on the surface we have a forested land. This is way more detailed than the game demands, but way more detail than the game demands is kind of my style. And let's put one great big kind of Special tree in the middle. The biggest tree. Sure. All right. So, in zone number 2, we have a nexus. So let's roll a d30 and find out what form that nexus takes. 16, which is the same result I got last time. No. 2. What is 2? Plague. A plague zone. Here. Deep underground lies sleeping the force of plague, primordial and untouched, prepared to be loosed upon the world. Plague 6. 'Tis a mighty plague too. So now, should any civilization or monsters encounter that cave in their lifetime, then many of them will die to the plague. See how easy that is? 7. 7 is rock. I'm picturing this as being a very crystally layer full of quartz, massive quartz. Rock again. Okay. It's not desirable in the game to have too much rock. I've debated whether just solid rock should even be an option at all, or if it's a mistake. But for now, I'm sticking with it. Because having a space that is dull can be interesting in itself if it is surrounded by spaces that are not dull. So, here we have water. What we have is an underground sea. Cool that it's this area in the very center. So let's get our dark brown. Let's fill it with a light blue, like that. Not really very light blue, but that's fine. Now, often when I do a cave, I'll have it, be half full, right? Like a sea, as opposed to completely full. But for this one, I'm going to leave it as it is for now. Perhaps at some future date, some natural event or monster activity or civilization activity could cause a cave to connect to that, in which case I'll probably choose to have it drain out and maybe create an underground river or something. I like having that idea that we have things that can change over time. So zone number 6, we have gems. We have 1d4 plus 1 clumps of gem deposits. Roll. 1d4 plus 1. We have, okay, so this is a pretty rich deposit. I think I'm actually just going to use these mountain ranges to be clumps of gems. It's not quite perfect, but So clumps of gems indicates collections that are bigger than 1 square in size. All right, roll 20. Why won't you let me manipulate this the way I want to? And with 5 of them in here, this is going to be a pretty hip hopping in place to get your gems. If we get any monsters in this game that like mining, like dwarves, for example, they will quickly turn this to their advantage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This should be a little bigger. It's too small to count as a clump. All right. More gems, more gems. Scattered deposits, 1d6 of them. One. I don't want to use the same gems. I'll just I think I have a gem somewhere in my library that I uploaded and used previously. My library is full of rooms that I have drawn for the purposes of this, color-coded so you can have different colors for the different monsters. All right, let's just do a little searching. I like that one. So one special gem, kind of like the Arkenstone. And finally, the Underdark. Now, this may be a little weird because the Underdark is not what these tables are designed to accomplish. Maybe I'll make an Underdark table for massive underground zones. See, like the result here that I got is 3 plus 7 is caves, one long tunnel. Well, that sort of is one long tunnel, isn't it? Right? It's but you know, I can use that actually. I can work with that because what I'm going to do is, because this isn't a place that you can travel, right? Like if you can fly like a bat, you can travel. If you can stick to the ceiling like a cave spider, you can travel. But if you're a goblin or an adventurer or something, getting down here is no use if you want to get across. So I'm going to say that there's actually a network of caves that runs in and through and around these stalactites, which can be used to actually traverse along this zone. That's what one long tunnel is going to mean. It looks a little weird, but it works. And we're going to give it a name. We're going to call it the Serpentium. No, that makes me think of Pentiums. The Serpentia. Yeah, good enough. And while we're naming things, we'll call this gem the Blue Heart. Why not? All right, and there's another primordial age. So I'm just going to move this to the maps and backgrounds layer. Okay. Okay. Getting used to roll20 is going to take a lifetime. That all. Okay, so we will go to the object layer. We will move everything to the map layer. This keeps changing color. I don't know if it's because it's the only thing that's on the wrong layer or the only thing that's on the right layer. If I go to the object layer, can I select this? No. Can I select that? Yes. To the map layer with E. Okay. Now I can draw on the object and token layer and not worry about accidentally selecting things or messing them up. So that was rather less than an hour of play, and I got 2 primordial ages in, which is pretty satisfying. It would be better if it was even faster, but I'm pretty happy with that. And I think, when this game ships in whatever form it ships in, it's quite conceivable it could come with some primordial ages already built, or even like a campaign book of primordial ages spread across the surface of a planet or something. I think that'd be really cool. They could certainly look a lot better than this. I mean, this is serviceable, but it's not beautiful. I wonder if I can background. Oh, background color, right? That's nice. Can I set a background image? No. I guess I could import a really big image and send it to the map layer to the background. So I could have this, stone textured, and these gems could have, sparkles on the sparkles and all that stuff. Okay, that's interesting. Um, Let me just find an interesting picture that I want to kind of pull in here just for discussion and contrast. Okay, this is probably a low-res version, but it will probably still take a little while to upload. Okay, yeah, it's decent res, right? Like this is a drawing, a artistic interpretation of a completed game of How to Host a Dungeon. But, you get the idea that the rock can be textured. We can show features like these lava tubes, this forest, this water. I have another map with a big underground sea in the middle of it. There's a lot visually that can be done with this, which is pretty exciting. Well, Thy God is Friday. I like that name better. My battery is running low. No wonder I'm so unresponsive. That is not a thing that should be happening. Okay, I'm going to find out what's going on with my power situation, and we'll come back and do something else. Okay, that's fixed. Well, if you bear with me, maybe I'll do something a little different. I'm inclined to play a game, and the theme of this here channel is dungeons. So it should be a dungeon game. And the other theme of this here channel is I kind of do whatever I want. So let's play something that maybe nobody on Twitch ever plays. All right. Goodbye, How to Host a Dungeon. Thank you for an excellent play test. Oh, monster cards. Goodbye, monster cards. Yes, let's save changes. Hello, Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. I have not played this game in a long time. Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup is a pixel art dungeon crawler, difficult and deadly. Can I even remember my password? Oh, come on, you. Why don't you have my password saved? I'll bet it's that. No. Hey. Sure, why not? Let's play. Oh, look, there's a new version since the last time I played. Well, my favorites are Merfolk and sorry, Minotaur and other tough monster berserkers. Haven't played in a long time, so maybe that would be more interesting. Of course, I could just go random. I could go viable. Let's just go with a random viable species and a random viable background. A vampire. Oh, jeez. I don't know how to play vampires. I don't know how to play enchanters either. What spells do I start with? Corona. Okay. Um, what's in my spell book? So Corona is a spell that outlines your enemies in a thin nimbus of light, making them easier to hit. That's not powerful. Vampires, they have different powers depending on how much blood they have in them. I believe when they're bloodless, they're super stealthy and kind of fragile, and when they're fully blooded, they're almost human. That's almost everything I know about vampires and their special abilities. I have razor sharp teeth. That's nice. I can see invisible. I don't need to breathe, which is not super useful in this particular game. In my spell book, I have confuse, Tirkamas Dance, which is not a spell I know, Ensorcelled Hibernation, and Dazzling Spray. So these are mostly spells that debilitate my enemies and make them easier to backstab. So sounds like I'm kind of a backstabber. So let's go. O is the Fast Explore button. That makes me immediately wander until I see a monster or something interesting. I'm going to be using that in this, even though it's not quite as much fun to watch, maybe, but it quickly gets tedious to wander around manually. Do I have any missile weapons? No. So let's sneak up on this dart slug. I'll back off so I don't have to fight these guys all together. As a level 1 character, I may just die. Right, I don't eat, so there's a stairway down in the dungeon. I don't really want to do that yet. I want to wander around here and grab some useful stuff like a potion. There's a teleport trap, a rat. I believe my healing rate is also affected by... All right, so I butchered the rat. I butchered its corpse after I killed it, and I got some blood, which is probably what I need instead of food. For most races, food is pretty important staying alive. So As a stabber, I'm pretty stealthy, although probably not super stealthy at level 1, right? You see this guy's asleep. If I get close enough to hit him while he's asleep, I can just murder him. Grab the potion. Another goblin. Gloves. We'll grab them. They could be cursed, so I won't put them on yet. Yeah, level 2, a dagger of venom. That is a super useful item. It could be cursed, but this early on, I'm just going to take the chance. It's a +1 dagger of venom. That is awesome. Early level monsters are vulnerable to poison in this game, and silver javelins, yes, I will take those. I will, nope, sorry. I will quiver them up, automatically quivered. Great. Javelins are a pretty good throwing weapon. Kobolds are weak, but they throw stones, and range can be bad news if you're incautious. Their corpses, unfortunately, are inedible. I'll grab these stones. I'm not really planning to be a ranged guy very much, but a little ranged goes a long way early on in the game. So let's see. So everything I do in this game is affected by skills. Like my stealth skill affects how stealthy I am, how easily people can hear me sneaking around the dungeon. My fight skill affects how well I hit. My dodge skill affects how well I avoid getting hit, and so on. So I want to train skills that are important to me at this time. I'm an enchanter, so I'm going to want to concentrate on my hexes so that my hex spells are more powerful. That's going to be essential. Spell casting is important, but I don't need it just yet. My stealth is probably sufficient for right now. I'll keep dodging on. I have no armor. It's gray because my armor does not improve if I don't wear armor. I'll just leave that where it is. I'm also not going to train throwing because I want to get my hexes up so I can cast some of those better spells. Speaking of which, can I memorize anything useful yet? Ensorcelled Hibernation. What does it do? It's basically a sleep spell that hibernation is probably it's an ice spell, so creatures that are not vulnerable to cold will be more resistant. So this will basically put creatures to sleep so I can stab them better. I don't recall this being a great spell, but I'm gonna cast it. I'm gonna learn it anyway. Oh, sorry. Switch back to memorization mode. Yes. Okay. And the reason why is if I run into something really nasty, like say a powerful orc or an ogre that isn't very resistant to enchantments, I can put him to sleep and get away. Getting away is 90% of what this game is about. Bats are weak, but very annoying because they juke around a lot. Grab that scroll. Let's see if we can lure. No, we cannot lure the dart slug without fighting his friend. See, now that dude is poisoned. If I wanted to be super cautious, and maybe I should be, I could just run away and wait for him to die of the poison. Right? Like he's poisoned, I run away, he dies. My health is really low. What's my status? At my current hunger state. So I resist negative energy because I'm leaning towards the vampiric side. And my movement speed is average. I'm not sure. Okay, so I waited a bunch of turns and I healed up. So I think my healing gets slower the more vampiric I am, and I need to drink blood to heal up. Yeah. Some money. Let's see if we can stab these guys in their sleep. Nice. I can also hit tab to just attack the nearest monster, but I don't mind fast moving, but I kind of go cautiously. Oops. He says as he takes a misstep literally when there are monsters about. This is a game about not making mistakes. which is bad for me because I'm actually kind of a reckless player in most games that I play. I'm okay at this. I would be much better if I was more meticulous. But, you know, the hell with meticulous. Oh, my game seems to be frozen. Okay, let's give it a second. Hmm. The server connections are occasionally prone to hang. So let's see if I can exit this game and reconnect. Okay, now I will go to Dungeon 2. It will find the shortest path to level 2. So it's unlikely that this enchanter will ever be skilled enough to wear chainmail, but I'm going to grab that magic chainmail anyway, just in case, depending how things go. Okay, so I want to increase my intelligence and just, well, as a stabber, a backstabber kind of guy, I do want dexterity, but I think I'm going to go for intelligence. Okay, these jackals are weak opponents, but they attack in numbers, which can be deadly. You see, caught in a net. That is bad. I wonder if I can hibernate that guy. The gnoll resists with some effort. Ooh, okay. So this is a deadly situation now. I'm still pretty weak. I have not discovered what any of my useful items do. I could probably hibernate one of these guys, but what I really need to do is get out of this net and run to a stairway. They have reach weapons, which means they can hit me from a couple steps away, but they won't follow me up the stairs. So I'm fine. Okay, I'll heal up a bit. I'm now thirsty, which means I should drink some blood soon. I guess there's no reason to wait around. I could now go down and fight those guys, but they will kill me. One or maybe two gnolls I can totally take, but a whole crew of them, they will take me down. So I'm going to go find another way down to that level. This is an old school dungeon crawl. You can be getting killed so fast when things were going great just a moment ago. Oh, a dart slug. Okay. Now, I have not discovered any stairs down yet, so I'm just going to continue to explore this level. Let's quiver up the tomahawks. Yeah, snakes can poison you, which can be... I should be coronaing everybody I meet, actually, to practice my spells and improve my fighting. So poison does damage over time. I think I can probably... this poison could kill me. Probably some of those potions are curing potions. I'm just gonna... Okay, that healed my wounds. I'll be fine now. I'm still poisoned, but the poison will wear off pretty soon. Okay. Now, those gnolls are still wandering on this level. I could go down. I think I am going to go down because Whoa. I only need to gain a level or two to take on those gnolls, but this is a tough fight. So these orcs are pretty tough melee fighters. It's that guy in the green, that orc wizard, who, orc priest, who can smite you in the name of his god, which does just free damage no matter where you are. It will fuck you up. So I'm gonna avoid that guy and I'm gonna stay on this level. Okay, use your enchantments, you stupid enchanter. Interesting. A snail-covered altar of Cherebriados. So this is interesting. An important mechanic in this game is gods. There are, I don't know, well more than a dozen different gods you can worship in this game, and each god rewards some kind of behavior, usually killing enemies, but can be many different things, and gives you boons in return. Cherebriados, the snail god of time, rewards slowness. He rewards you for killing enemies who are faster than you, and he makes you slower. But as he makes you slower, he makes your stats improve. Improve a lot. I mean, you can really become a superhuman killing machine with the power of Cherebriados. And he has smite powers that damage anyone who's stronger than you, and you can stop time to escape combat. Um, he is an all-around good god. The problem is you have to be slow to get the benefits. This vampire is probably average, but Cherebriados is not a good match for me, which is too bad because finding an altar on level 2 of the dungeon can be pretty awesome. See, now I'm thirsty, and the reason that I'm thirsty again so quickly is that casting spells increases your hunger. Oh, there's those stupid gnolls. Okay. If I can train this guy into a hallway, I might be able to hibernate him and stab him. Nice. Oh, and those guys, they had question marks next to them. That's because they couldn't see me. So they're alert, but they don't know where I am. I'm not going to mess. I'm going to leave those guys. At level 4, I'm starting to get to the point where I can handle them, but I'm still just a spongy little spellcaster who can be easily slain. So be nice to get some kind of area effect. What do I have? Okay, so I've now got a much better collection of spells. So no, I don't want to confuse. I don't want to memorize confuse. I want to read confuse. So it is a single target, which is too bad. Group confuse is very useful. Single confuse is much less. Rips the weapon from their hands and makes it attack them relentlessly. So this can be useful not because it's a great fighter, but because it gives the enemy another target to think about, which is very useful to me as a stabber and as a sneak, and also as a spellcaster, that anything that reduces the damage coming at me greatly improves my survivability. This is a spread of scintillating energy, so this is an area attack that blinds opponents. So all these have pluses and minuses. I don't know this class very well. Dazzling Spray is harder to cast because it is a conjuration, and I'm a hexes expert. But I'm going to memorize Dazzling Spray for 2 reasons. One, I think I need it to deal with those orcs on the next level, because they'll be pretty vulnerable to it. And 2, it allows me to train conjurations, which is the spell school of damaging spells, like fireballs, magic missile type stuff. And I think I'm gonna try and get some of that. Yeah, so these monsters that I worried about at level 1 are already starting to become much less of a concern to me. That open door. Okay, now I'm slightly contaminated because I failed to cast a spell. Okay. I hope his friends aren't too close. Yeah. Okay, this guy could be trouble for me. Now he is trouble for me. Yeah. This stabby vampire guy is I'm liking him a lot more than I thought I would. Let's heal up a bit. One of the dangers of any class in this game that you have not played before is you don't always know what monsters are trouble for you because each class plays very differently and each class has a few monsters which are much more troublesome for it than for others. Okay, the python is constricting me, but I got him. Oh, he's got a friend python. No Monty Python jokes, please. All right. Let's go find the orcs. Ooh, okay. So this is a ghost. This is a player ghost. This is the ghost of another player who died playing this game. The ghost will have characteristics based on what that character's class, equipment, etc. were. This is a amateur gargoyle fire elementalist, so he's a low-level fire elementalist. He's got a weapon of venom, which is pretty nasty. He can probably cast fire magic, which could make short work of me. He's probably not vulnerable to hibernation. Dazzling spray might work on him, but I wouldn't bet on it. I can certainly put Corona on him. The thing is, ghosts never climb stairs, so I'm going to take a shot at killing this guy. I'm probably going to either get killed or have to run for it. Yeah, I'm running. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just make a note on that level so that every time I enter that level, it will remind me that there is a ghost there. Devoid of blood. So now I'm bloodless. So what are my powers when I'm bloodless? Immune to poison, I have razor sharp teeth, I can see invisible, and I don't need to breathe. Okay. I do not heal naturally, so I have a... So this is my stealthy killer mode. When I need to heal, I'm going to have to drink potions of blood. I'll become more human, but I will heal naturally. Probably lose some of these powers, like maybe the acute eyesight. I don't know. Maybe as I level up, I'll get more powers. I should go like read the wiki or the instructions or something, but you know, sometimes the fun is in exploring. That's the other reason why I'm not super great at this game, is because I like to explore a little too much. So I'm going to run into that stupid ghost all the time on this level. So what is the fast move key? I don't know what the fast move key is. So I probably should just go down. I can't beat that ghost. He's just too much trouble for me. I should have stabbed him in his sleep instead of Corona-ing him. Oh, let's see. Kikawagda. Yeah. What do you, right, I kneel at the altar. This will tell me something about this. Demon god. This is an undead god. So you kill monsters for, and then he gives you necromantic magic, a supply. Right, so you can summon corpses, which is great because then you can animate them or slaughter them for blood. This is a really great god to worship if you're a vampire. Yes, I want to join this religion. So, this has not given me any new special abilities. Ooh, bat form. Okay, I missed that. That must be because I'm bloodless right now. I can turn into a bat, which is really great for escaping because bats are fast. Hey, this character is looking good. An iguana. An iguana is a pretty dangerous foe for me. Okay, I have dazzled him. He is now vulnerable to stabbing. Now he's undazzled, unfortunately. I didn't get a shot at him. Okay, his resistances aren't great, but I don't have enough mana. I shouldn't fight this guy. But I think he is slow enough that I can just... Ooh, ow. Let's try this bat form. I failed to use my ability. Okay. Bat form... Right. I wonder what skill bat form uses. Okay, I think I have enough mana to try and hibernate him again. Nice. Oh, potions of blood rot away over time, huh? So now I need to drink some potions so that I can heal. That's how this works. Okay, I'm getting the hang of this. Being a vampire is awesome until you need to heal. That's the lesson I am learning here. Sleeping dwarves. It's so tempting. Orcs, I mean. Sleeping orcs. Yeah, leaving them alive is just nice. Got the wizard. I'm now level 5. Oh, wow. Ooh, another wizard. I'm really learning to love this whole vampire thing. Thirsty. I think I'm going to let myself become bloodless again. Worker ant. They're pretty tough. They can poison you. Not sure how well I could handle that in my vampiriness. Is it time to... Oh, aha. So, it looks like my worship of Kikabawaka, or however you pronounce his name, has given me some more spells. Or did I find a spell book and not notice? Let's take a look. I did. I got a summoning spell book. Summoning isn't anything I particularly want to branch into. It's useful because you call in more creatures to help tie up your enemies, but I'm not going to learn any of those spells. Those are not useful to me. Let's take a peek up the stairs. Snakes are not tough, but they're super hard to hit. Wow, okay, this snake is actually kicking my ass, it turns out. If I go down the stairs, he'll follow me because they can follow you if you're right there. I'm gonna... Such a waste to use my potion of heal wounds, but I kind of need to put him to sleep. Yeah, that was a little rash. Phantoms are hard to hit. They can be a problem. Okay, I did good damage on my backstab. And they teleport. Okay, got him. No, he blinked. I did not get him. He blinked away. See, they blink away. Then they heal up a bit. Okay, I got him. And I got a lot of XP for that too. This is an interesting hallway. Oh. Dithmenos. I wish I had known. Dithmenos is the god of darkness. This guy is awesome if you make use of the shadows to stab people in the dark. No, I will not join this religion. I'm already worshiping a pretty awesome god. Okay, so an ogre. So now, ogre is pretty bad. He can kill me in one hit if he's lucky. Super vulnerable to poison. Very poor resistances against my magic spells. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to sleep this guy and then Dagger of Venom him. I do not want him to get close enough to hit me. If he were to catch me, then I would want to poison him with my Dagger of Venom and just keep running away from him. Because I'm wielding the wrong dagger. I did not wield my Dagger of Venom. So I'm in a bit of a spot here. I'm just going to keep running until he stumbles and I get a bit of room, and then I'm going to try and put him to sleep. I'm just going to be patient on this. If I wanted to be fancy, I would try poisoning him and then running away, and then you lose a bunch of hit points, and then when the poison wears off, I poison him again. I keep on running. That's very effective against ogres. They're super vulnerable to poison, but okay. He's not getting shots on me, so unless I get unlucky and another monster wanders by, the hibernation does not seem to be doing it. I could just run away, just get some space, head up the stairs. Let's poison him. Yeah, you see, that poison took off like half of his hit points. All right. Ogres are one of the first seriously tough monsters that you start meeting in numbers. A shop. Sort of slicing. Meh. There's nothing here that that I will use ever. Pity. Oh, it's a cute little monster. Keep practicing your enchantments, man. Speaking of which, where am I at? Hexes are at level 7. Let's turn spellcasting back on because that will reduce I guess since I don't need to worry about spell hunger, which is how you become hungry when you cast spells. That's awesome. Necromancy I'm gonna turn on because I'm eventually gonna get necromantic spellbooks from my god. Ice magic. Oh, I do not want ice magic. Not with this guy. And conjurations, now that I'm going this necromancy route, may not be super important, but I'll keep it going. I need more short blades for better stabby damage. Dodging, I'll keep going. I'm really kind of splitting up my my skill abilities quite a bit, but that's okay. If I knew this class really well, I'd probably have like a super optimized plan and just be practicing one skill at a time, but I'm certainly not there. There's a sling. They're not great in my opinion. So Corona for weak monsters, Hibernation for tough ones. Okay, so Undead, probably not vulnerable to most of my spells until I get some necromantic powers. All right, I wonder if I'm ready to take on that ghost yet. I don't think so. Ghost seems like a pretty tough opponent for this guy because I'm never going to be tough in melee. What I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to get like Dispel Undead or a nice powerful conjuration that's hard to resist because ghosts will have good resistances to magic. And then I'll go back and clean that guy up. And by that time he'll be easy. What dungeon level am I on? Okay. Grinder. Okay, this is trouble. So there are unique named characters who have different powers and characteristics, and some of them are deadly and some of them are no trouble at all, and it depends a lot on what you are. Grinder is, I believe he's an imp. He's a powerful summoner. He can summon quite a bunch of enemies that will be really hard to deal with early on. I believe he can be poisoned, though he might have some resistance, and he might be hibernatable, but he's a spellcaster, so he probably has high spell resistance. So my best bet is to poison him and run away using bat form if he becomes too much trouble. Or just run right now. He'll probably kill me. Let's see if I can get a lucky... he's no melee fighter. Okay, so I cannot hibernate him. I should Corona him to increase my chances of hitting him. All right, I've poisoned him. He's not summoning anyone yet, so I may get lucky. I'm going to have to run here pretty soon. Blink. Okay. Maybe he's not a summoner. Maybe he's just a general spellcaster. Poison is not wearing him down very fast. I think I've got him. Where'd you blink to, Grinder? Nice. Yeah, Silver Javelin probably extra good against summoned opponents. I don't want to deal with the snake while I'm injured. Let's drink some blood. Gather up my stuff. A quokka. Even at level 1, those guys are not worth worrying about. Ice Beast. Ice Beasts hit hard in melee. I could probably fight this guy. How do I do this again? I don't remember how to... how do I... Travel at normal speed. There's a way to set an exclusion zone. I thought it was Shift X and then X. What that does is it just sets an area that you will not move into when you use quick move. Because he's sleeping, I can kind of just avoid him, which is what I will do because he's a monster I shouldn't fight at this point. Where's that command though? Let's see. Non-gameplay commands. All right, I'm just going to do a really web search in how to set exclusion zones in the default character set. There's a great wiki for this game. I don't think it's cheating to use it at all because this game is so deep. There are so many different combinations and monsters and stuff that reading the wiki is not going to make you a master of it by any. Enter examine mode by pressing X. Move the cursor over the tile you wish to exclude and then press E. Okay. So, X, E. All right, so that now makes it so I will not auto move into any tile that can conceivably be seen from that monster. And hopefully he'll just stay asleep. Ooh, okay, so this is... so this is our first branch. A branch is a special area that branches off of the dungeon and has its own, sometimes levels and characteristics and geography. This is a really simple branch. This is the Ecumenical Temple. It's full of altars of Not quite every god, but a whole bunch of them. We've got this war dancing god, this shattered god who hangs nailed to the roof of the universe and observes all that happens. We've got this trickster luck god, the berserker god. He's a good god. I don't know what he does. The god of destructive magic, the god of chaos, who just torments you for some reason if you worship him. Um, I don't remember what that guy does. This god of wealth, who when you kill monsters, they turn into money. It's hilarious. He's like kind of a good warrior god, I think. Okarawu, he's the weapon master god. These guys are all great, but I've already got a god. The other good thing about this temple is it's a good place to stash stuff because monsters don't come here. So I think it's time to identify some stuff. One of these scrolls stacks is probably a scrolls of identify. That was a scroll of teleportation. Very useful for escaping monsters. Don't want to use up any more of those unless I have to. Enchant armor. Sure, I'll enchant those gloves and put them on. Plus one pair of gloves, sure. S, scroll of identify. Let's find out what that ring is. A ring of flight. Not very useful, but wearable. In case I need to cross some water. Okay. I do not need scrolls of enchant armor. I can leave those here until I need them later. Let's find out, okay, what some of my potions are. I often drink the potions that I have two of, just to find out what they are. Potion of cancellation cancels magical effects. I'm not going to identify that chainmail. I'm not going to wear that chainmail ever. It's not worth wasting a scroll on. Okay, that was useful. Stabby, stabby. Scorpion has pretty dangerous poison. However, is also highly vulnerable to poison, ironically. Now I'm at the point where I have to start deciding if I want to drink some blood in order to heal, or if I want to keep the benefits of my vampiric form. Tomahawks of Dispersal, those will magically teleport anyone they hit. It's pretty useful for dealing with dangerous monsters. I think I'm going to be cautious. Let's drink some blood and heal. Now we're starting to get to the point of the dungeon where we might start encountering some interesting branches and stuff. Iguana. Iguanas are still kind of dangerous to me. Magic boots. Sure, I'll identify them. Why not? All right. +2 boots. Totally worth wearing. Speaking of which, okay, we can stop training stealth for a bit. Necromancy, let's just wait till we get some spells. Short blades doesn't need that much. I have a feeling we're gonna evolve into more of a necromancer eventually. Spellcasting, let's keep training that. Dodging, sure, armor will never be used. Frogs are surprisingly dangerous. Very vulnerable to hibernation magic, though. Oh, I'm going to grab these poison needles in case I find a blowgun. It just is kind of a useful utility thing to have around early on to deal with ogres. A wand of lightning, so that's a pretty useful item. The question mark means I don't know how many charges that it has. If I identify it, oh, Ice Beast. Am I ready for Ice Beasts yet? I'm not ready for Ice Beasts yet. Oh yeah, this is one of the new gods. I don't know anything about this god. Let's just see what his shtick is. Hepliaclaquana. Hepliaclaquana sounds Inuit, the forgotten. Hepliaclaquana, the forgotten, accepts the worship of those who would remember their forebears and fight alongside the greatest of them all. Acolytes of Hepliaclaquana sacrifice a small part of their life essence to manifest their ancestors into the void. As they explore and form new experiences, they will find themselves able to shape and control their ancestors' memory, eventually bringing them into the ranks of the mythical heroes. Huh. Yeah, this is one where I think you can summon your ancestors, so you summon different kinds of characters to fight with you or something. I don't know quite how he works. A black bear. Black bear is really dangerous in melee. Vulnerable to poison and hibernation. And sadly for him, asleep. Another ghost, a novice Naga transmuter. So this is a shape changer, which Naga shape changers can be very dangerous. With the right spells, he can saw me up and eat me for lunch. Um, hmm. He's probably really slow because Nagas are slow. So I can get hits and duck back and get more hits. But being bloodless might be an issue with this guy. Confuse and Tukuma's dance are spells I should be thinking about now. Not that they will help me in any way with this ghost. This ghost can probably take me, but, you know, it's almost time for me to stop for the night. If I beat him, then I'm going to try and take this character all the way. I don't know if I can win with a class I've never played before, but I'll take a shot at it. If this guy kills me, so it goes. All right. Better keep an eye on what kind of spells he casts, if any. Yeah, he's hitting me hard. Now I should, yeah, be able to, I can easily outdistance him. Okay, so if I do this right, can't poison him. I could lightning him. Bit of a waste of lightning. Probably have a potion of might in there, maybe, but I don't know which one it is. Yeah. The orb doesn't exist, he whispers. Doors won't really stop him. I think I need to go upstairs, get some blood, then come back down here. Oh, he'll wander away once he loses sight of me, so I'm not really going to be able to predict where I'll run into him. So I think I'm going to try and explore this level with blood on my hands. Okay, so there he is again. Um, Silver javelins will do a little extra damage to him because he's a ghost. Slightly damaged. Slightly damaged. Oh, now I'm using rocks. Let's, so tomahawks of dispersal, they can have a, okay, so that teleported him away again. That's useful because I don't know if ghosts heal at all. I think they do. Should have coroned him. He is resisting. Okay. Ooh. Okay, just checking my path of retreat. He assumes a wrestling stance. He might be able to constrict me since he's a Naga and they have a constrict attack. I'm not doing any damage on this guy. That just made a lot of noise and didn't help at all. Alright, I'm being very foolish. I can't take this guy. I just straight up can't take him. Ghosts never go upstairs, though. Alright, I'm going to find another staircase down, and I'm just going to park there until the next time I play this, because it's pointless to fight that ghost until I get something that can deal with him. I think that's streaming for tonight. So I'll save this up in the videos, and if you're watching this, thanks for checking it out.